Hello guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the third episode of the Lichess 44-44 Team Championship and its analysis. Today we are going to look at a game between TN and DCTrip, DCTrip 13, and I already put it in a study. It was requested by the lovely people of the Lichess 45-45 that if I could put these analyses in separate studies, then people would have access to them afterwards. So if you go to my name and then you go to my studies, then you will find them. They are available to public, and I will also put the links below. That's what all YouTubers do, so that you can see them there too. Right, so once again, in the white trunks, the one and only Tran123, and in the black trunks, representing his own team, DCTrip 13. And we are headed for a very boring Spanish 4 nights, which turns into a very exciting Spanish 4 nights very soon. So far we are following theory, and this is where normally black breaks the symmetry by taking on c3 and then playing queen e7. The idea is what exactly happened in the game is to regroup the knight to e6, kicking out this annoying bishop from g5, which then will have to give up on this pin, because if it goes back to h4, then the knight can continue its journey towards f4 and have a very nice outpost over there. So far so good. Rook e1, all fine and dandy. Both sides are playing, developing moves and following what is looking like a very logical way of continuing the game. d4, very good. Obviously white is aiming to open up the position for his two bishops, whereas black's main concept here is to keep it closed, and that's why black is going to actually fail here very soon. We'll see what caused black's downfall in this game. So d4, knight e6 as per planned. Please note that this pawn is not hanging now due to the tactics that after knight here the bishop would hang, and if we take first here, which is a horrendous move, giving up the beautiful bishop, then after queen takes, black is a lot better due to the damaged pawn structure and the knight coming in. So white of course knew that, and he dropped back to c1. It may look like a silly move, but actually there is not a lot of good squares to go back to. h4 has already been discussed. Not much point in going to e3 because it blocks off the file of the rook and the e4 is hanging. And d2 we often find is worse than c1. So from c1 we can occasionally balance out this way and this way, which is particularly helpful, excuse my rudeness. And this is the moment where everything went pear-shaped, and very often you find that you just make one mistake in a game and you feel like you're struggling for the rest of the game as a consequence, and that is exactly what happened here, because the whole idea for black in this opening is to keep the center closed. As soon as it gets opened up, it's a disaster, because the two bishops are going to dominate the board. The e5 pawn is a stronghold, and we must hang on to it with all our might. And actually I did read a bit of a chit-chat from both of the players after the game, and they said that they both prepared for this opening, but this is how far black prepared for it. And this is a very important thing, that when you play an opening, it is actually very helpful if not only you memorize the moves, but if you understand what's going on. Because regardless of how many books and libraries of openings you memorize, if you don't understand what's going on the board, it's a bit like, yeah, it's going to hurt you, because once you are out of book, you will have to figure out what's happening. And if you don't understand why the setup that you played actually works, and more importantly, how it works, then we might as well just learn less theory and focus more on how to play proper chess. And I'm not saying that black is not playing proper chess, but here taking on d4 is a colossal error, and for a lot of reasons. So if a student of mine played this move, I would give them 3 different poundings for 3 different reasons. Number 1, we don't give up the center ever. Okay, a lot of beginner players, and in fact higher rated players, don't understand the concept that if you take on here, you do not swap off this pawn for this. You are swapping off this one for this. Look what's disappearing from the board and what remains. These two guys are gone. Black's best pawn for white's most retarded, useless piece of wood has gone. This is like it feels like we swap even equal value. No, this pawn is worth a gajillion times more than that. And you would never ever swap this unless it was winning on the spot, or at least it wins something for you. Number 2, we don't release tension. Tension is good, especially because white is highly unlikely to ever take on here unless it's a free pawn, and I will show you how it's not going to be a free pawn, and we can always choose to take them. White is also highly unlikely to push through because that would lock up the center even further and the 2 knights would leave like fish in water. Don't release tension unless you gain something out of it. What we gain out of this as black now is that now our suffering is going to be shortened because now we are already strategically almost lost. Because white dominates the center and he has got the 2 bishops in an open position. That's how disastrous this move was. And yes, I hear you saying, yes, but I didn't see how I could have protected my e5 pawn. You should have looked harder. And harder and harder and harder until you found it, because this basically means that you are giving a free game to your opponent and the free win pretty much with that too. And actually the way to guard this pawn is not overly complicated. Simply you play c6, kicking the bishop out, and regardless of where it goes, you just swing the queen across here. And black has got a perfectly sound position with no problems whatsoever. As long as we hang on to the pawn on e5, we are fine and dandy. Look what happens after. Take, c6, bishop d3. We can already see that the 2 bishops are getting ready for the kingside attack. And black is utterly and hopelessly planless. And that is a very junky feeling in chess when you don't have a plan. So they play d5. I actually would have preferred to go for c5 because we have got a wide squared bishop, so I really don't want to put and especially not fix pawns on white. And if it might incline or sort of force white's hand to push it in, which is very tempting. And then if I can gain a grip of the e5 square, which actually I can't in this scenario, then we would look very good. Yeah, actually this is not good at all, because after the knight drops back wherever, bishop b2 followed by c4 and e5, and we are going to be murdered. But neither is d5 any good, because after e5 it is an even more killing structure, where white has got a humongous kingside attack and black has got no counterplay whatsoever. And yet there was a lot more to this game. First of all, knight h5 is the worst knight move out of all that was available for black here, because it puts the knight on the rim and it has got nowhere to go other than f4, which got denied in the next move. And from here on we are playing with a piece down, and we know since Tarash, the good old Zigbert, told us that knight on the rim is grim, and it is very true. This knight should have gone here and then go for c5 ASAP. And actually, just to give you a realistic scenario, c5, I'm just going to play a couple of logical looking moves. Knight b8. I hate to go back, and I always tell you not to, but now I do have a valid point behind it, because regardless of what white does, my next move is knight c6, and I'm trying to build up some pressure on this d4 pawn. And all of a sudden, my pieces have got meaning. They have got something to leave for. They are both targeting d4, the knight on e6 blockades the e-pawn, and now if I find a sensible square for the bishop on e6, gonna be difficult business, we are looking like a chess game. After knight h5, g3, it was going downhill all the way. g6, another very ugly but sadly necessary move, which was a direct result of this very, very poor knight maneuver. So now after g6, we are full of dark holes all over the shop. We don't have a dark squared bishop. They have a dark squared bishop. Yeah, time to go to the canteen and just stay there. Wait for the next round. Yeah, all right, so bishop h6. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Rook e8, queen d2, and c5. Finally, the correct plan. Once again, I would love to have this knight here, not here. And black played his c4, and I would like to pause here again because this is another colossal strategical error. And in fact, when I fed this position to my computer, to the very silly Ripka, who can only play up to 3,300 FIDE rating, what does he know about chess? His first recommendation was, actually hers, also c4, but then it switched away from it. I tell you why c4 is a colossal error. Number one, it closes off the center when it's clear cut that white has got a very dangerous attack already on the king side, and we have got bugger all on the queen side. You only choose to close off a position if opening it up is downright killing you, and number two, if you think that you will be faster on your respective wing than they are where they are operating. Okay, so after c4, bishop c2, white is already attacking you heavily on the king side. We have got nothing here, and we never will, ever. We don't have a target, we don't have a plan, we have got a dead loss position. And anything is better than that. You might argue, yeah, but what do I do instead? Whatever. Anything. Bishop d7, rook c8, then take, then bring the queen into either here or here, depending on where this queen goes. You must do something on the queen side. Another quotation from the chat, the black player said after the game that he never had the time to play moves on the queen side. Definitely not after c4. I totally agree. Well, I don't even agree with that, but c4 was a colossal error here. So bishop d7, I don't see why black wouldn't have the time next to play rook c8 and then take and then bring the queen in and try to swap stuff and penetrate with the rook. I don't see why there is no time for that. In fact, the saddest part of the game was that after c4, bishop dropped back. From here on, black played 2 more moves on the queen side. And that was all. Every single move other than that, black played on the king side. What does he have to do on the king side? We are getting butchered there. Get the heck out of there and do your thing here, whatever it is. Now, having played c4, the only sensible plan here for black is to play b5, a5, b4. Is it gonna do much? Nah. Does it do at least a little? Yeah, it does. It looks like we are again pursuing a plan, and we are playing on the side of the board where we are supposed to. And it's not really that difficult because the pawn structure always tells you, simply by pointing to the correct direction, white is attacking on the king side, and black, after this very unnecessary push, is aiming to attack on the queen side. This is how the pawn structure always tells you which way to go. This move is totally irrelevant. It does bugger all, nothing whatsoever, and white can just do whatever he pleases. If we at least kick him with this plan, it looks like we are trying to do a5, b4. As soon as you play a move like this, white goes like, okay, so he's hacking me there. I better hurry up. As soon as you play a move like this, white goes like, I can do whatever I want for the next 200 moves. Good. That's what I wanted to see. This is the psychology of chess, which is very, very important because we are not playing against machines. Machines don't have feelings, but humans do. So even an objectively not much better move can have a vast and huge difference on the game and even on the outcome, especially on this level. And yes, you did have the time to play on the queen side. I really need to get rid of these arrows. Watch me. b5. Knight g7 was totally unnecessary and meaningless. And in fact, if I play something like g4, that knight just looks like a lemon entirely anyway. Okay, they played h4. Not quite sure about that. I would have preferred to play g4, knight f5, king g2. These moves are the ultimate telltale signs that yes, there was time for black to pursue his plan and run up those pawns where we have got more of those guys. Tuck, tuck. And again, totally meaningless moves on the king side for no apparent reason. Does white have a threat now? No. Is he gonna swap queens? No. So why do we go there? I still would have preferred to do something remotely attacking looking. And if knight g5, you drop back. Like, look at this. b5, knight g5, knight f8. I hate to go back, but now I had to. Okay, rook h1. One very important thing. in chess that a lot of amateur players commit is that they overestimate the power of certain attacking scenarios. And I'm not saying that white is not having a dangerous attack, because he does. But this is not game over. A5, H5, B4. Takes, I take back, and I have defended the mate successfully, and he already has a problem with the cornerstone of this pawn chain. Is white winning here? I think so. Is it obvious how? No. Could it have been anybody's game? Most definitely. Now let's compare this scenario when we do nothing at all. And once again, I would like to highlight to you that black is playing every single move on the wrong side of the board. Again, what are you doing, mate? This is not your playground. You need to get the heck out of here and play here. Every single move that black makes on this side of the board is an extra nail in the coffin. Queen h6, I don't really understand that, because now any knight move offers a queen swap. Really, queen f4 followed by g4 would have been the way to go. This part of the game is very shaky for both sides. Queen f4, queen e7, and this is the moment when white was ready to kill. Once again, I hate to nail it in, but queen e7 was another absolutely unnecessary move. The reason why black played it is because he was hoping to stop g4. Guess what the best move is for white? You got it right, g4. Anytime your opponent plays a move with the intention of stopping something, the first and best thing to do is to check if it really does stop it. After g4, knight takes, black loses on the spot by a beautiful attack. Rook h1, opening up the h file, the queen must go, and of course now we just go for broke. We throw in the kitchen and the sink, and it's gonna be a mate chook. If the king comes here, then chook mate, so the king has to go back there, and after queen h6, it's going to be winning the rook and the queen in order to avoid mated. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about f6, chook. If king goes there, it's mate, so the queen has to come here. Another chook, the queen needs to block, and the icing on the cake is this chook. Actually, it's gonna be false mate here after takes. Mate is unstoppable. King here and an epic mate. This is how it all could have ended. And these are stock standard attacking motives. Like, there is nothing crazy about rook takes h7. One should not even consider any other move in here. Like, if you were my student and you considered here queen h6 before looking at rook h7, you would be in for trouble. It's not fun to be my student, folks, trust me. It's not fun at all. So yeah, queen e7, again, wrong side of the board, wrong purpose. Yeah. Knight h2. Knight g7. It really hurts me when I see this. It really does. Okay. It's like a soccer team that continuously is running the wrong direction towards their own goal. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You need to go that way, not that way. Okay, bishop g4. Utterly puzzling. I have no idea what this move was meant to be. Worst piece on the board, thank you very much. Whoa. I have done something funky. I would never ever swap it off. Blocked on its own color. Everything is on this bishop's color. Crappiest piece. Why wouldn't we play bishop f3 or h5 or anything that remotely looks like we are attacking? Not cool. And here, if black had played h5, then the whole concept would have gone out of the window, because now after takes, we after all can't penetrate where we want it to go. I'm actually beginning to like black here, because once we fend off this attack, this will be quite powerful, and the knight has got two beautiful squares to go to for the 27th time in this game, bouncing back and forth like there was no tomorrow. Anyhow, take, knight choke. And from here on, white just very calmly built up his position, and it was good enough for a victory. I would like to gently point out to you that in this position, the computer loved this maneuver of coming here and here, pinning the rook. I'm not 100% convinced about its value. Actually, sorry, now, because before that king g7 would have been very strong. So now, king here, sorry, queen here. Pinning that rook looks like a very dirty one. Rook f6 is fine. Queen c8. Remember when I told you black made no moves on the queen side? This was one of them. And now this is the next move on the queen side, when we are already getting slaughtered. So yeah, queen f4, this is where the computer suggested this very subtle positional plan. I love it. Queen f4. And at this stage, white is building up the attack really nicely. Rook e1, always floating the idea of pushing the pawn in. And knight e8 is just ridiculously passive. e6, well done, mate. Loving the tactics. The position is ripe for the finish off. And he went for it. Tuck, tuck. And now the mate is not stoppable. If the rook goes back, the simplest win is actually to plug that e7 square in. And when they take its mate. G to the G. GG. Instead, black chose to rook, take the rook, but after the recapture, he still couldn't stop queen h8 mate. A spectacular finish off, and overall, a rather good effort by white, and a victory that was never in doubt, and it all came down to one very poor decision. And it sucks when you lose like that, because you feel like, really? One bad move and I'm going down? Sometimes chess is like that. It is a fundamentally wrong decision, and as such, we need to learn it and not to make it ever again. That said, this game had a lot more for it, for black. Even here, after knight d7 followed by c5, and even later on, despite of what black said in the chat, there was ample opportunity to actually play on the queen side. Because this is not per se an attack. It's an attacking move, or rather a move that proposes some sort of attacking concept, but it's not like it's threatening anything, and it's not like we need to respond to it right now. Yes, it looks far more threatening than what we are doing on the queen side. There is only thing that is worse than that if we do bugger all, and that's what black did. Nothing at all. Look at that. Like, this never happened, and in fact never ever did we see in this game any single plan on black's side. Meaningless bouncing back and forth. Knight here, knight here, knight here, knight here, queen here, queen here, queen there. Nah, this is the ultimate way to lose, even against weaker players. I'm not sure how the ratings worked out in this game, but if you don't have your own plan that you would like to execute, it's very unlikely that your opponent is going to give you the free point on a plate by blundering something away. And white was good enough not to do so, and this was a very convincing finish. To some extent, I feel for black, because it was once again this one strategical error in the opening to take on d4 instead of playing c6 and queen c7. But even after that, he should have realized that A, knight here is a no-go, and B, if he wanted to achieve something, anything in this game, he needed to move a muscle on the queen side. Because he just walked up to the guillotine, put his neck into it, and his head got chopped off promptly. Good effort by white, and I'm pretty sure it was a very bitter loss for black, but I do hope that both guys learned their lesson from the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, the links for this are going to be uploaded with the video, so you should be able to see and go through the analysis on my Lichess studies. Thanks a lot, guys, again for watching, and I will be back with the rest soon. Bye.